Welcome to a Thursday edition of No Huddle Rodeo, broadcasting as always from Fort Worth, Texas. Thank you to Runyon's Fine Furniture for decorating our place in the stockyards. Thank you as well to Justin Boots for making this possible. And today we're really running through a lot of results. We got Reno results, Ponoka's underway, Greeley's underway. We've also got some tie-down roping news as well. But first, let's just set the table for the finals of Reno. We still got one more set of Cowboys to come through Thursday and Friday before the finals on Saturday. Remember, it's a 3-head average in every event except the bull riding. In the bull riding, it is a 2-head average. So just want to set the table on who you're probably going to see there. Who's in the top 6 or 7 right now? The top 10 on 2 come back in every event. The top 10 in bulls on their one ride come back in the bull riding. So in the average, it's the guy who got out to the lead in the bareback riding still on top. Cade Sunier, 170.5 points. Jess Pope at 169 points. Tanner Ross and Jasek Frost are in there as well. So is Tilden Hooper. He's at 166. Tristan Hansen at 168. What I think is interesting about the bareback riding is that 170.5, that's 85.5 points per ride. That's a very gettable number right there. So if you're Tilden Hooper and you're at 166, you could be 89 points and still come from that 5th or 6th spot. If you're Jess Pope, who's 1.5 points back, obviously you might just need to, you only need to beat Cade Sunier at this point by 1.5 points. But point being is we've seen big scores win here before. We've seen 260 on 3, get it done. 265 on 3, get it done. Right now, bareback riding, it is probably as wide open as any event, because when you look at the steer wrestling, veteran-laden steer wrestling right now in Reno. Riley Duvall, 8'5", leads it. Stetson Jorgensen, he's 9/10 back. So right now, this is Riley Duvall's rodeo to lose. Mark Joyner in there at 9'5". Kyle Irwin at 10 flat. Chance Howard, 10'3". Then the reigning world champion, JD Struxness, 10'4". But again, you look at the difference, and I don't know how you value point totals versus time in the timed events to the rough stock events. But if you're Tilden Hooper, you'd much rather be Tilden Hooper in 6th place, being 4.5 points back, than you would JD Struxness being a full 2 seconds back. And then team roping, talk about it truly being anyone's game in the team roping. Dustin Gaskiza and JC Flake, that new pair, we talked about it on No Huddle Rodeo earlier this week. Igaskiza and Lord no longer roping together. JC Flake outside the top 50, now roping with his brother-in-law, the number 3 man in the world, Dustin Igaskiza. So they're at 10-5. Everyone else in the top 6 is 10-9 or better. So in that includes Brenton Hall and Caden Profili, a great young pair. Denton Dunning and Tyler Tryon, another great young pair of the Graham brothers. Clay Smith roping with Nikki Northcott this year or at this rodeo. So interesting mix again. That is wide open. In the saddle bronc riding, it's a little different because remember, we just talked about Cade Sunier, Tilden Hooper, number 1 and number 6 in the bareback riding, separated by 4.5 points. Well, from just number 1 to number 2 right now in the saddle bronc riding is 3.5 points. Damian Brennan got out to that early lead with back-to-back 87.5 point rides. Brody Kress is up there with 171 on 2. Right behind them, Lefty Holman and Shea Fournier, 170.5. And then this is where it gets a little scary because you got Ryder right down there at 169.5. He could very well go 90, put up 259.5 for you to go get early in the rodeo or earlier in that finals. So Damian Brennan, Brody Kress, they'll probably know the number, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's Ryder or Zach Dallas, who's been really good in the playoff rodeos this year. Zach Dallas in that mix as well. Then in the tie-down roping, we got 2 guys who could have career-defining wins up top right now, Bray Yor and Cash Flez. Bray Yor was just last week the reserve world champion in the college national finals. And now in pro rodeo, he could finish 2nd in the college finals and then go on to win Reno in pro rodeo in back-to-back weeks, which what a 2 different levels, 2 different types of competitions, but obviously 2 very good competitions to win there. And then Cash Flez, 21-year-old unranked, They're both at 17-7 on 2. Brayor leads round 1, but this is where it gets interesting. Shad Mayfield, 7-7 last night. He's in there at 18-2. He is 0.5 of a second back. Hunter Urman there as well. Dylan Hancock, Marcus Costa. But I would guess, if I had to guess, and this is going to be fun to watch, kind of a rookie in the vet type situation, because I think it's going to be one of those two guys, Brayor and Cash Flores, or Shad Mayfield, which, quick sidebar, Shad Mayfield, that's 7-7. He's going to get a big check in that round too, which allowed him to keep pace with Riley Webb, who's already in with 8-1 in round 1 in Greeley and stacked $4,600 there based on what he did in the slack. And as long as I did it right there, I'm going to change course real quick in the middle of this Reno recap and tell you the other tie-down news I have, as reported by Kendra Santos, is that Haven Meged is going to be out for a month. He's number 19 in the world. He hurt himself in the practice pen in May, just felt something wasn't quite right after he ran 16 casts to practice. So the relentless work ethic kind of used against Haven a little bit there. It's been known for a while. I mean, he's one of those guys. He is a maniacal worker. So he's going to take some time to rest. He's number 19 in the world. And if you want a guy who's going to a bunch of rodeos, knowing he's got to make up ground, I would not want to see Haven Meged, the NFR average record holder and the NFR arena record holder. I feel like people kind of forget both of those things. In the Thomas and Mack, Haven Meged has the best time on 10 and the best time on 1. He is phenomenal there. So it's kind of like what I talked about yesterday in No Huddle Rodeo with Josh Frost, is that this is a guy you don't want to see coming when he's got nothing to lose and he can go all out, because when he goes all out, he can be 6'4", and he can also be 7-7 on average over 10 runs. He was 77.4 for that NFR average record. So back to Reno now after my brief little interlude with my tie-down roping update, a little out of order there, but Emily Beisel leads, and she's in control in the barrel racing. 34 seconds on 2, 17:09 to lead round 1, and then tied with Trisha Aldridge for the fastest run of the rodeo in round 2, 16:91. 3 runs total below 17 seconds. Last year, I tweeted this earlier, only 1 such run. So better barrel racing than we saw a year ago in Reno. And again, it is Emily Beisel's to lose at this moment at 34 seconds flat. She is 36 hundredths clear of Trisha Aldridge, and then Julie Plurd up there as well. She's having a breakout year. Both those gals, Trisha Aldridge and Julie Plurd, having upstart years. Haley Garrison, number 4, Michelle Alley, number 5, Kathy Grimes, number 6. But you want to compare that to the other events, this is kind of like the steer wrestling. Number 1 and number 6 separated by almost 0.6 of a second. So it's going to be tough to run down Emily Beisel. And remember, in all these events, these are not set in stone yet, because they're one more cycle of athletes through. So there's another set of 10, 12 athletes who are going to put up there 2 times. Could change up these leaderboards by the time we get to Saturday, but I don't do a show on Friday or Saturday, so I'm reporting to you now. Lastly, Stetson Wright, 92.5 leads the Bulls. Tristan Hutchings at 90, Riley Shippey 89.5, 6 guys total at 87.5 or better. So a lot of people in the mix in the bull riding, especially when you can buck off in the bull riding. Duh. But I will remind you, as I said yesterday, 4 people were 86 points or better in the finals last year in Reno. So I would expect, you got to get to 175, 176, 177. I mean, I'd say at least 177 to have any chance to win that rodeo. And then quickly out to Ponoka up in Canada, kind of the primer for the Calgary Stampede, the second biggest rodeo in Canada, also up there in Alberta. They pay about $500,000 there. And the number one, there's 2 things that I took notice of there. Richie Champion out to the early lead in the bareback riding. He's number 24 in the world. Winning that rodeo would be a huge start to his Cowboy Christmas. And then Wasey Shala leads the bull riding. That's a big payday. And so he's off to a good start there. We'll probably see him in the short round already based on that 1 ride of 86 3/4 points. Number 1 in the world. And he's going to have to hold off Stetson Wright. Remember, who's already 92.5 in the bulls, and that's going to be tough to beat in that long round. So big check coming Stetson's way. Could be a big check coming Wasey's way, and he could take advantage of the rights, not going to Ponoka, not going to Calgary this year. So they paid boatloads of money at both those rodeos. We'll see if Wasey can get it done and get every bit of ground on Stetson right, because as I mentioned, that is a fun race. Tristan Hutchings up to number 3 as well. Remember, he went 90 in Reno already, like I said, and won that rodeo last year. That is the final show of the week. Thank you for joining us into our first foray into this content. Thank you for watching the Morning Kick. Thank you for watching No Huddle Rodeo. Continue to subscribe. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, you probably noticed I've been wearing 4 or 5 different hats. We got some of these. So send me a DM on Instagram. Send me a DM on Twitter. Send US Cowboy a DM. I'll send you a hat for watching. I appreciate everybody. Free hats. Like and subscribe. Tell a friend. This is No Huddle Rodeo. We will see you next week on US Cowboy.